Welcome back to the channel where we continue on in Power BI. Today we're going to do some more data visualization. Going to take a look at the combo chart, which is a custard column and combo chart, which allows us to have a couple of different things on the x-axis. And then you can also take a look at a time series. And in this example, we're going to take a look at the years of the data in our YouTube channel. And then we're also going to take a look at revenue and views and chart this out so you can then see if there's a correlation and a good time series element to the combo chart. It's one of the more useful charts when you want to take a look at a couple of things and have it in one chart so that the user can then start to filter out the data. So let's go to Power BI and take a look at a combo chart. Back in the report view of Power BI, and this is what we are going to be creating when we make a combo chart in Power BI using the data visualization. We are going to take a look at the start of the month and take the time series from 2020 all the way through May of 2023, and we're going to take a look at two different items. We're going to take a look at total revenue and total views. Here is a look at the finished chart, and we'll build this out in Power BI. Let's build out the combo chart in Power BI. From the home menu, the first thing you're going to want to do is choose the line and clustered column chart. And as with other visuals, this will bring up the options that you have for the visual when you are actually building the visual. The first thing is the x-axis. Now the x-axis is going to be our time series in this example, and we're going to use the start of the month as our x-axis. Now when you add this, nothing actually happens to the visual. There's the x-axis has been formatted, but there's nothing in there until you actually start to bring in your column and your line. So for the column, we are going to use from our measure table, we are going to use the total amount of revenue. So now we're starting to build out the visual. That brings in the time series from 2020 to 2023. And then for the line axis, we are going to use the total number of views. And for the total views, once you bring that in there, you then have your x-axis and your y-axis, and the y-axis has a couple of different things. Now you can actually start to format the chart, and on the left-hand side we see the total revenue, and on the right-hand side we see the total number of views. The total number of views is the line, and the total revenue is the column in this chart. So from there we can start to build out the visual. And from this point, we're going to use the visualization options. First thing on is we are going to look at total revenue and total views. And we're going to try to make this a little bit easier. We'll have total revenue and total views by month. Makes the title of the chart just a little bit shorter. We're going to make that a little bit bigger, and we're going to change this to the font. We're going to use the Sego font UI. And now we're going to take a look at the actual few other items. Like the first thing we may want to do is, do we want the x-axis on or off? You can toggle that on, you can toggle that off. I think we definitely want the x-axis on there. Secondary y-axis, the legend, you can turn that on or off. And in this case, we're going to want that on because that's how the user will be able to determine which is which. Now for the markers, we're going to put some markers, and we're going to put that on and we're going to use this as a diamond is one of our options. And now we're going to start to work on the colors. So we're right now using the default colors, and we can add in kind of more of a gray. And what that does for the diamonds is it makes them a little bit gray. And for the markers, And then now we're going to start to use some of the series labels. We don't need those. The data labels are turned off. And now we can start to see for the columns, we currently have that default blue. We'll change that to a gray. And that starts to, then we want to have the line chart. When you look at that, you can start to see, do you want your line chart, for the columns, we're now using the gray, and we can start to take a look at this chart by month. We see that the revenue has slowly been growing in 2023. You've got the views growing over time, and then you can bring in a slicer. Let's say if we wanted to slice this by the day of the week. So we could add a slicer, and we are going to click off of the chart and bring in a slicer. And now we can add in the day of the week from our calendar table, and we'll actually name in the day name. So now if we want to see this by Friday, we can see the Friday only revenue. We can see the Wednesday revenue. So we can start to see if there is some seasonality or day of the week on this channel for the slicer. And we could also take a look at a different slicer by maybe the month of the year or something like that. But what a combo chart allows you to see is two different data points, in this case, the revenue and the total views. It allows us to start taking a look at some of the filters, and you'll use combo charts a lot, especially with a time series. And in this example, we're taking a look at the time frame from January of 2020 all the way out through May of 2023. So get to know the different combo charts. You can take a look at some of the different formatting options, and we continue on with our data visualization series. We've already taken a look at some card charts, some KPI charts, a matrix chart. So make sure to watch those videos and get more comfortable. Remember, the data visualization is normally the final thing that you do in your Power BI reporting workflow. Normally you import your data, then you start to clean your data, then you set up your calculated columns, your conditional columns, you make your measures, and then the final thing that you'll do is start to add in the data visuals in Power BI.